Recruiter here, the headless headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes in this recession. So the resume we have up first is for an entry-level software developer, and this upsets me greatly. It may not sound like it because I am currently sick and I have no sleep, so this is what I'm going to sound like for the rest of this review. Even if it's a good resume or a bad resume, there's not going to be much inflection. This is just what it's going to sound like. But they did not tell me what kind of software engineer. So, if you are not a software engineer, still watch. This is important to you because for every single job, you need to be very specific. This is a great resume sin, all right? This is one of the biggest resume sins people, not just engineers, commit, which is you do not tell me enough about what you do because your resume is too broad. Resumes are job title specific. If you apply to a job with a resume that is tailored to a different job title, you are not going to get it. And I don't just mean your title. I mean specifically the qualifications in it. Remember, we're not hunting for keywords, we are hunting for responsibilities and how you did stuff. And because of that, what I would look for as an example for this is in a full stack developer is going to be different than a back-end Python developer is going to be different than a front-end developer. Even though full stack is back-end and front-end, and maybe I want a little bit of them, the main focus on the resume will be different. So since you did not tell me in the title, you just said entry-level software developer, I'm going to roll a d6, which is a 6-sided die, because I am a nerd and play Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder, and whichever side this lands on is what I'm going to review this as. If you are, in fact, a Python developer, and it lands on front end, well, tough. You did not specify your resume, and this is probably where part of the problem is. So, away we go. What are we getting? This is 4, so this is a back-end C#.NET dev. Are you? I don't know, but you did not tell me, and that, my friend, is the biggest problem, is you did not tell me what type of developer you are. And again, everybody else, this is important for you as well. I need to know, as you're both recruiter and person reviewing your resume needs to be tailored to a specific job title. So, for a C# engineer, what we are going to be looking for is the following, as I butcher all of this, is .NET, C#, SQL, Cloud, which is Azure, AWS, GCP, or MVS, Microsoft Visual Studios, Git, Agile, RESTful API, CI/CD, front end. Again, they want a little bit of front end, but it's not as big as a focus. So JavaScript, HTML, CSS, cross-functional, DevOps, and ASP.NET. So, can I find it in 20 seconds, which is all the time recruiters have to review your resume? Let's go. Developed a full stack. Okay, Python. I guess you're a Python dev, but you didn't tell me, and I got C#, so tough. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. And MVVM is more mobile dev, too. Maybe you're a mobile dev. MATLAB, yeah, there's nothing here. Now, maybe you think this is not fair, but this is how it works internally. Obviously, we don't roll a dice to determine which one we're looking for, but different companies are going to be very specific in what they're looking for in the job. And if you apply to a software engineer that just says software engineer, but it's actually a C# developer, and you're a Python dev, this is what's going to happen to your resume. Is it's going to get yeeted. So, let's read what you said. Applied to around 350 roles, mostly software dev roles. Had 3 initial interviews, but never got past the first or the second round, probably because it was too broad and they did not know what you did. One discrepancy that you might flag is overlapping dates. Yeah, I do see that, but you're an intern, so that's... interns are fine. They have weirder dates. My second software engineer role was officially from January, and the second one was September to December. Role was the exact same. Project was the exact same. The first software role was between those two. The IT help desk were also overlapping. I mean, as an intern, the fact that you stayed an intern, that makes sense. People do work multiple internships. People do part-time jobs. It is assumed that as you are an intern, you are not working full-time. So if those were 2 full-time jobs, it would have raised flag, but I don't think it's because you specifically put intern, you're fine. So, you got 3 interviews out of that, which is that's not a great ratio at all. And the ratio is how you can tell how good your resume is. The more basically it's how many applications you send versus how many, again, sick brain networking, how many interviews you get. I once forgot the word for job on stream, and that was the most embarrassing thing for me. So you may be worried about the overlapping dates, but the dates are not a huge problem because you are specifically, these are internship roles. And these are, part-time jobs. So your resume needs to look like this, okay? This name, obviously don't put my name. That would be really weird. Please do not submit your resume with my name. I would freak out. That would be very disturbing. And this is how I want you to write it. If you notice, this fits on one line and is italicized. This is the same thing. This should not be bolded. This should not be bolded. This should be italicized. Then we get down to what you actually do, and beyond formatting, which again, formatting is important, but the actual content is more important than formatting. If I had to choose between a resume with good bullet points versus a resume with good formatting, I would choose bullet points every single day of the week. But your bullet points are not good. So first off, I don't know what you are. I get Python, right? There's Python there. But I don't know if you're a mobile dev because I literally have never seen MVVM. Oh, here, MVC, Microsoft Visual Studio. Okay, that one actually would have been for C, but still, you need more. But, like, maybe this is a mobile dev or, like, an iOS developer. Because if that's the case, then what you'd actually be looking for is this. So you may be looking for a mobile dev because this is what this reads like. And let's see if I can find some stuff. I found MVVM and MVC. That's good. That is good. Did not find cloud. Did not find anything else. Again, maybe Python is okay. So yeah, this is your problem, is that there's nothing here, right? Like, I know you spent time on this, and I'm not trying to be mean, but this resume is nearly blank. There's almost nothing here I can use to actually move you forward. I cannot move you forward because you implemented data binding support for panel framework. I cannot move you forward because you developed equivalent interactive web applications evaluating trade-offs in maintainability, performance, and user experience for scientific data visualization. I can move you forward because you have MVC, MVP, and MVVM. That's good. But, like, I need this stuff for mobile dev. Maybe you're a Python dev. Let's see. If you're a Python dev, well, I know most of those off the top of my head, and let me pull it up for everybody else, but essentially, I'm going to need Python, which I did see. I'm going to need SQL. And again, I did not see SQL there at all. That's pretty important. And I did not see RESTful APIs. I did not see any little bit of, say, like, whatever, like AI, which is nice to have. It's not mandatory, but it's nice to have. Here we go. This took me too long to get up. I did not see Git. I did not see CI/CD. I did not see Agile. I did not see any cloud. So yeah, that's the problem, is your resume is blank. You may have applied to 3 roles that actually use MVC and MVP and MVVM, but this resume almost has nothing in it. So you need to actually focus on what we want to see. And remember, resume is not to show how good you are. You don't get to do that, unfortunately. Resumes are terrible at showing how good you are. A resume's entire purpose and only purpose is showing that you meet the bare minimum qualifications, and these are the bare minimum qualifications. The interview is to determine where you're better than other candidates, not the resume. So this is your problem and why you're failing, and it's a recession and the job market is bad. I want to be clear, that is part of it too. But 2 things can be true, and you are not able to make an unrecession. You cannot unrecession the economy, but you can fix your resume to stand a better chance. So if you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a software engineering intern. So they said back-end Python, and this is where it gets a little bit weird. They are a master's, so this doesn't apply to them, but I want to make sure I say this to everybody else, is you do need to pick a stack when you're looking for your first full-time job. But as a bachelor's intern or your first internship, you actually don't need to pick a stack. You can just do intern. But once you become a master's student and you're looking for a master's intern or a PhD intern, then the lines start to blur a little bit. And you're going to need basically the same qualifications you would at a normal full-time role, just not quite as much. So what we're going to be looking for is your degree, Python, SQL, any type of SQL, Docker, Cloud, RESTful APIs, Agile, Git, CI/CD, and one of these, so full stack, AI, NumPy, ML, DevOps, Fast API, Flask, Django, ability to work well with others, and take direction and criticism. That is a specific intern thing. If you have a lot of previous intern experiences, you don't need to write this down because they assume that since you have been an intern so many times, you have done that enough that you don't need to put it in. But if you only had 1 or maybe 2 internships, then you may want to put this in. So, let's see. Can I find this in 20 seconds? And go. All right, degree, good. Automated trial, okay. Python, Flask, SQL, good. AWS, good. PyTest, I don't care about the 25%. Nothing. CI/CD, okay. And GitHub, which is 6, that's good. And Agile, which is 7. That's a close one. This may be a meet, may not be a yeet. It is on the edge. The problem is you filled it with a lot of junk like whatever this is and this is. Like, we don't care about boosting coverage from 30 to 95% and reducing bugs by 25%. Like, you wrote a good bullet point here. Like, this is a fantastic bullet point. Built an automated stock trading and trade report generation software using Python, Flask, I think you need a comma there, PyTest, SQLite, and deployed with AWS. That's fantastic. You should have ended the sentence there. Unfortunately, you said improving report accuracy by 45%. I don't care about that. This is the new trend in resume writing that is hurting candidates, which is putting all these percentages. Stop doing it. Unless you're in sales or a manager, no, it's bad. It makes it worse. This is not adding context. It's making it worse. So, what did you say? This is an updated resume based on your tips and resume template. Okay, it is, again, this is on the verge. This is like maybe a C- resume. As of now, I didn't apply too much. 10 internships. Yeah, that is definitely not enough. Even a great, fantastic internship resume will probably not get 1 in 10. It's just really competitive. I want to know if this is okay for internships and what changes I need to make for grad roles. For grad roles, you will need to add the stuff that's missing. And for this, you just need to stop with all this percentages. Please stop. I'm begging you. Every single candidate, every single resume has this stuff in it. 99% accuracy, 20% accuracy, 40% speed. We cannot use it. It is junk data. We cannot use it at all. But like automated workflows with cron jobs and AWS CloudWatch reducing manual effort is fine. It's a fine sentence. That you could have just ended it here, right? This is a fine sentence. Catching more bugs in pre-production. That's a fine sentence. No percentages. Please stop with the percentages. Do recruiters look at LinkedIn, GitHub portfolio links? I feel like I've reviewed this one before. Maybe this was a double submittal and that's my mistake. Rarely, but yes. So it is possible, but it's usually after you've been accepted to the next stage as managers or GitHub users or managers. Before the interview may look at your stuff, but recruiters probably won't. I'm an international student enjoying your live stream. Not sure if you remember me. I tried to join your stream. Oh, well, hope you can get the next stream. But yeah, again, it is not like garbage resume, throw it in the trash. There's a couple of minor formatting errors, but a bigger issue is just it's a little harder to read because of this percentages. Please stop with the percentages. Unless you're in sales or a manager, you don't need percentages. It just makes it worse. Like, why did you not increase this by 45% speed? Why only 40? That's not impressive. You should have done 50 or 60 or 70. By putting in a percentage, you immediately bring room for doubt in the person's mind that it was not good enough. So during the interview, you can tell us what it is and all that good stuff, but otherwise, stop with all this percentages. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a data scientist. So they said their ratio is 150, which is terrible. So that's over 150 applications to get an interview. So let's see what they're missing. What we need for a data scientist, which is different than a data analyst. There is a lot of overlap, but there is not enough overlap that you can use the same resume for them. So your degree, Python, R, SQL, data in all its forms. So like data modeling, data analytics, data, I don't know. There's a bunch more. Your industry, every industry in this case is going to have a couple of qualifications that I'm not able to find. So as long as I know what your industry is, that's fine. So like healthcare or fintech or SDLC. How you can explain stuff to non-technical folk, that is huge. That is huge. Everybody focuses on the data when really we need to know how you can like influence stakeholders and work cross-functionally and explain this stuff to them. Cloud, so AWS, GCP, or Azure. Microsoft Office applications such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Google Sheets. AI, LLM, ML, NLP, Spark, Scikit-learn. I do know how to actually say it, even though I refuse to. I like saying skibbity-learn. It makes me giggle. Pandas, NumPy, dashboards, data visualization, Tableau, Power BI, and ETL. So, do you need all of these to get an interview? No, you actually do not. You need about 75% of them. That's the goal. And this person did dox themselves, so I cannot scroll past this page. Please don't dox yourself. The written instruction is to scrub your information, like your name, your email, and that stuff. So, the less you scrub, the less likely I can help you. All right, and go. This is junk. Don't need it. This is fine. Should be one line. Should be one line. Nothing here I can use. Nothing here I can use. All right. So actually developed, optimized dashboards. That's actually good. Reports and predictive models using Power BI, Python, and SQL. That's good. Automating reporting process and improving scalability. Blah, blah, blah. Actionable insight for business. It's a fine sentence. And I ran out of time. Cool. Can't move you forward. I only got to one sentence. This is why a summary is bad. This is why a skills section is bad. This is why relevant coursework is bad. It takes time away from what I actually care about, which is this. And again, you doxed yourself, so I can't even scroll past this. Can I scroll a little bit past this? Let's try not to... There we go. This is a... Yep, nope, and it almost glitched. Let's do... There we go. This is as far as I can do. So, what did you write me? You said, I am a contractor for a company through a staffing agency and would love to get a full-time role in the data science field. You are looking for remote jobs. Good luck with that. Man, remote is tough to get right now. I wish that was not the case. I very, very, very much wish that was not the case, but it's really, really rough. I think in November 2024, and people in the comments can correct me because it's been a while since I heard the exact stat, it was only, I think it was only 19 to 12% of the jobs in the United States were remote. So for every 9 jobs that exist, about one of them would be remote. Sorry, for every 10 jobs that exist, one of them would be remote, approximately. But it had 50% of the populace applying to that. So the amount of competition is extreme, and especially if you're like just out of school, which I guess you're not, is the problem. So here's the big issue, is your resume is garbage, right? This is an okay sentence. This is also okay. The rest of these don't really matter. So you didn't really give me enough stuff. Right? Like, I found Python, which was good. I found Power BI, which was good. And I think I found, let's see, Power BI dashboards. You said, yeah, dashboards good. And SQL. And if you notice, there's still an awful lot. You didn't really show me how you taught people. Like, deliver data insights to senior leadership, translating complex analytics into actual recommendations that informs, like, this is too broad. I need to know specifics of this. Like, explain complex data to senior leadership so they could X and Y, right? Like, I get decision-making time, but don't focus on decision-making time because they want to know, like, what it led to. Did it lead to, them deciding on a product that helped save the company? I need to know more. It's too broad. Like, this is kind of scrubbed clean. It's too basic. So you also don't have like any of the other qualifications I'm looking for. So that's a big problem with this is A, the formatting is awful. B, is you barely have enough stuff that I'm looking for. And you're looking for remote. And for remote, you probably need more of this stuff. That is some fierce competition, my friend. So this is the problem with your resume, is it just doesn't have enough and the formatting's bad. You may want to redo it, truthfully, and make some bullet points that actually explain how you did stuff and the reason and result of you doing it. Like, this is okay, right? But, like, I would prefer, like, what is actionable insights? Like, you use too much corporate language. I understand people try to say, like, to use corporate language in your resume, but you don't want to. You want your resume to be very basic and understandable by the layman. The more leverages and actionable and synergistic you say, the harder it is for us to read it. So it's a little too complicated, it does not have enough stuff, and the formatting's bad. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a AI software engineer. This person said they had practically no interviews. No, it's actually 100 to 1, so that's not good. That's definitely bad, but it's not the worst ever. But it's pretty bad. That's like a D minus. Is 100 applications to 1 interview. So, can I find what I need in 20 seconds? What I'm looking for is AI, LLM, NLP, Python, TensorFlow, PyTorch, Cloud, NumPy, R, MATLAB, SD, LC, CI/CD, DevOps. One of these, so like RAG, ML, LangChain, Skibbity, Learn, Pandas, Agentic, and that you can explain stuff to non-tech people. So that's what I'm looking for. All right, and go. Okay, you do not want to write this. There's a way to write that. I can teach you later. Okay, AI, good. PyTorch, good. Keras, maybe. Don't care about costs. What is YOLO? Okay. Python, and I think that's it. Cool. So yeah, that is part of the problem, is I did not need half of this stuff. Also, real quick, if you are on a visa, so this is one of the few reasons you want to actually put a summary, is you need to explain how we can work with it. You don't need to put anything else other than, any company can work with me to do X and Y. Thing is, they may not know that's an OPT. They may know that's an OPT. They may not know how to work with an OPT. I may be wrong, and that is not an OPT. So you need to describe to other people how they can work with you on a visa, because I will guarantee you that 70% of us do not know that, because it's very, very... It always changes, and it's very tough to train people on immigration stuff. And even when you are trained on it, truthfully, the big thing you have to know is talk to a lawyer. So you want to explain how we can work with that visa. Now, on to the actual resume. The biggest problem with this is there's so much junk that I do not need. Built an AI-based synthetic data pipeline with PyTorch and Keras. Okay, that's fine. I wish it had a little bit more, but that's fine. Reducing costs by 60% and improving YOLO model accuracy by 20% on edge case scenario. I don't care about that. That doesn't matter. Again, stop with the percentages. It's very rare for you to actually have a number, right? Like, there are actual cases where you want to put numbers in your resume. This is not one of them. Deployed models on Jetson or in NX. Okay, I don't care about that. Again, that's not really what I'm looking for. Using a Python good interface wrapper and stream concurrency. I don't care about that. TensorFlow, blah, blah, blah. Again, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for CNN. It's a news station. It's not what I'm looking for. Bayes generative model. Again, not using that. Nothing here. Git, I could maybe use. Again, this is the problem, is you kind of filled it with stuff I don't need. To use a food metaphor, it's like asking for a hamburger at let's just say John Donald's, right? The legally distinct burger chain. And you ask for a plain cheeseburger, just cheeseburger and the buns and the meat, and they give it to you with pickles and onions and mustard and a bunch of other stuff tapered on. That's not what you asked for. And your only goal is to taste the meat and the cheese, but you can't because there's too much ketchup, too much mustard, there's mayo on it, there's pickles, you didn't want pickles, and that's the problem with this, is there's too much mustard and ketchup. I'm not looking for Orin NX Jetson or CGAN or CUDA or Rose 2 framework or YOLO style. Or leveraging Hugging Face. Maybe Hugging Face actually could be a qual. That one actually, Hugging Face might be used. But I don't know what stable diffusion and grounding dyno is. That's not relevant to what I'm looking for. Look, you're a smart cookie, all right? For real. I understand this. I only got a bachelor's. You've got a 3.9 from a university as, I assume, a master's student in AI. The problem is, again, you're not talking to people with other masters. You're talking to them with bachelor's at best. And even the hiring managers that do speak your language, in this case being high tech, don't have the time to read through all this other junk that they don't need. They have a problem. That problem right now is that they are making an agentic framework and they need somebody that knows, like, say, I don't know, AI, Python, and cloud. That's their problem. You did not show any of that. So you need to really look at job descriptions to see what they're giving and then make a resume based on multiple of those so you can have an aggregate resume for a specific job title. That is the goal, because right now this is why you get rejected. But also, you wrote something, so which I should probably read. I'm expiring AI software engineer. Okay, I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering with a minor in robotics. Let's see, I have one internship, which isn't aligned with the current goal, so I removed it. That's a good idea. I want to work in the fields of self-driving synthetic data or deep learning models. Everything I've learned is self-taught, so we appreciate some insight of what I can add. The thing is this, like, you added too much stuff that I don't care about. Like, again, it's okay to be self-taught. You can have it in the projects, but I don't care about Jetson or an NX. I don't know what that is. I don't care about YOLO style. It's funny. Kind of want to know what that is. I don't care about GPUs with CUDA or whatever. CUDA. You need to be specific. There's too much junk here that I don't need. So that's the main problem, is like, it's good that you're aspiring for it, but you need to make sure that your qualifications are relevant for the role. So my guide shows you how, which is on my website at headlessheadhunter.org, because .com was taken. And yeah, that'll show you how to find those, but it's just, you just don't have enough stuff. That's the problem, and the stuff you do have is too much mustard on it. So, next, resume. This is a resume of a software engineer, intern / new grad. Those are different roles. What a new grad would want, you could see at the very first of this. What a intern would want is your degree, basic knowledge of tech stack, language library, SQL Cloud, and the ability to work well with others and take direction and criticism. So I'm only going to be focusing on, I think, intern for this. I actually am not sure which I should focus on. So, because there's so many stuff this could be, truthfully. Normally I like to do the 20 seconds first, but I need to know what this person does. Haven't applied in a while, and when I was applying before, I was getting a good amount of interviews, but not sure if this still holds up a year later, and wanted to maximize my chance at big tech and larger firms. Okay, so I assume this person is looking for a software engineer role, and the problem is I don't know what kind of software engineer. Oh, C#. I see C#. We're going with another C# dev. We had 2 of them today, which is weird. So, again, this is semi-cheating, but I already did this in the very beginning, so let's see what an actual C# dev has that probably has what we need if they're really getting a lot of interviews like they said, which they could. It's entirely possible that they are. All right, so 20 seconds. Nope, wrong button. Oh, God, I'm breaking everything. Everything's wrong. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. Redo the clock. All right. 20 seconds for C#, which I went over in the very beginning. And go. All right, bachelor's, don't care about this. TypeScript, good. C#, .NET, good. MongoDB, maybe. Okay, Scrum, solid. Lead, full stack of dashboard for clients, integrating Power BI APIs. APIs, good. Build front-end components, UI. Okay, this is actually not bad. I need more of it, but yeah. So, would this pass? Probably not. But again, this is in Canada, and I don't fully know the Canadian market. These are the US-based qualifications, but it did find most of what I wanted. So yes, the formatting is atrocious, to be clear. This is awful. Please don't do that. Do this. This is good. This is bad. This is good. This is bad. This shows you how to be good. This is bad. All right, formatting at least. But bullet point wise, it's actually not bad. So you did Angular, which again, it's not exactly JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, but it is front end, and you did state front end. I would prefer it to be like JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, but it might be slightly different in Canada. That is always a possibility. I am a US-based recruiter. But you did have C# and .NET. That was good. MongoDB, maybe. Sometimes that is a qualification. It's not as common, but I may need it. You did have API, but you didn't have RESTful API. But it's still good that you had you had API, you had a little bit of Python, you had a little bit of AI, LangChain. So could I move this forward in the US? No. But again, Canada may have different qualifications, and I did not know this was Canadian until after I looked it up. So what you need to do is A, fix the formatting, and B, if the Canadian market is the same as the US market, add a little bit of this stuff. That should be it. Remember, it's the basic stuff that gets you a job. I've gotten more people jobs by putting JavaScript, HTML, and CSS on than I have by lead algorithms of 42.888888 repeating chance. So, There's not a ton I can do with this because, again, it is Canadian, and that may be a different type. But yeah, again, it's not terrible. I just need a little bit more, and for you to fix the formatting, that's kind of it. So that's all for me today. Hopefully I will not be sick on the next video. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. If you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST until whenever I get busy. Sometimes an hour, sometimes 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes 30 minutes. It depends. But I will see you all in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.